What's up, War Report family? We are back with another weekly edition of Facts or Nah, brought to you by RogueShop.com. Fellas, y'all ready to do this?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
This episode of Facts or Nah is brought to you by Rogue Shop. Looking to reduce stress or improve your quality of sleep? Rogue Shop has you covered with a wide range of premium products, including gummies, bath salts, and oils. Go to RogueShop.com and use code RAPPORT when you check out. That way, they know we sent you. All right?
Well, let's get it kicked off like this. Facts or nah, Auburn's defense will surrender less than 15 points per game during the month of September. What are we feeling?
I'm definitely going facts on this one. Guys, I got one word for you. Shut out. Auburn's defense is going to do a bang-up job in the month of September. I like the guys we have returning on the defensive side of the ball. I think they do a good job holding down some weaker opponents in the month of September. So less than 15 points a game is definitely not a stretch unless we mail it in the fourth quarter and the backups give up a lot of yards. But I'm going facts on this one. I think we're good at the too deep on defense.
Yeah, I'm going to go facts here as well. Auburn definitely opens up the season with 2 cupcakes. I'm keeping an eye out on the Penn State matchup. We gave up 28 points to them, but that was on the road. I expect in Jordan-Hare, it'll be a little bit tougher for them to be able to move the ball. Points, I believe, are going to be a little bit tougher to come by. Also, I'm not expecting a lot from Missouri, even though that is a conference opponent. I think that we will definitely keep them at bay. We actually gave up in the month of September last year about 15.5 points. I think we do better this year, seeing as though all the games are at home. I think our defense will be prepared. I'm going facts.
I'm going to go nah here. And it's not because we won't dominate on defense, but what we have is almost a brand new secondary. We've got guys who may be in starting positions that weren't in starting positions. We don't know how the coaches are changing the scheme from last year to this year. Things could be brand new for the guys who have been here, and then we've got brand new guys back there. And if it's anything like year one when we changed defensive coordinators last year, the secondary is going to take a minute to get itself figured out. It's not that we couldn't have a better secondary with better players back there, but game 1, 2, and Penn State 3, because they'll come in with a sound game plan. We're going to have guys who are seeing things for the first time, and I think that may lead to us giving up some points. Not a lot, but more than 15, I think it's possible. So I'm going to say nah.
I think I'm going to go facts on this one, mostly because of those cupcake games bringing the average down lower during the month. I'm not super impressed by anything that I've seen thus far with Penn State. I mean, they were all right last year, but I think we could have done better defensively against them. Missouri tends to be a fairly high-powered scoring offense, but I think that we've got the horses to be able to keep them under 30 points, which means, again, if we have low in the cupcake games, then we will have a low overall average. Under 15, let's go for it. Facts.
All right, fellas, facts or nah. Auburn will be top 10 in tackles for loss next season.
I'm actually going to go facts here as well, because we're returning a lot of our guys responsible for the production we had last season. I'm looking at Colby Wooden, Derek Hall, Ekuliota, and we have some new faces along the defensive line as well who could be very disruptive up front. I think this is the area where we're really strong on our defense. I expect them to pick up where they left off. Going facts.
I'm going to go facts on this one as well. Guys, we return our top 3 sack leaders from last season to this team. So, of course, they're going to step it up in the tackles for loss department. Auburn actually was top 10 for most of last season in this department, so I expect them to continue that trend in 2022. These guys are coming out of a brand new strength and conditioning program, so they got their weight up this summer. I'm going facts on this one.
I think I'm going to have to go facts on this one as well. I expect the defensive line rotation to be something that allows our defensive linemen to stay fresh. We were very good in the tackles for loss department last season. I see no reason for that trend to not continue this season. Even though there is a change in defensive coordinator, I also think that means a change in defensive philosophy, which means maybe some more exotic blitzes. I think this defense feels like they have something to prove this year, and we've got a lot of guys who are going to be vying for a higher draft stock. I think that bodes well for the intensity that we bring along the defensive front. So we'll go facts, top 10 tackles for loss next season.
Yeah, I'm going facts as well. I don't think you have this much experience returning that were good at something without them getting better at it. Too much continuity, too much talent on that defensive line, and now we're even deeper. So I expect us to be better individually and as a unit, and I definitely think we get top 10 in tackles for loss. Facts.
Gentlemen, facts or nah, Auburn begins the 2022 season with at least 10 commits in the 2023 recruiting class. What do you guys think about this one?
I'm going to have to say no on this one. I think for this year's cycle of recruits, it's still wait and see for Brian Harsin and his staff. So recruits are going to want to see how we're trending this season to see if Auburn is a good spot for them to continue their post-high school careers. A lot is going to depend on factors that just haven't happened yet. So unless we're throwing a bag of NIL at people, I'm going to say no. I think recruits hold out to see how Auburn's doing on this one.
I'm actually going to say nah on this one. I think we will get close. Big Cat Weekend will probably bring in a couple of more, but I think we're just too far away from that number right now. We're only at 2 recruits right now, and I just think that there's a lot of things that people are waiting to see will happen as far as how we're going to look on both sides of the ball next season. That included with the dead period that's going to be coming up. I just don't know that we have enough time to secure 8 new recruits for commitments. So I'm going to say nah.
I'm going to say nah as well. Time is a factor, like Ike said. But like Mike said, we haven't shown what probably is going to be our best recruiting pitch under Brian Harsin, which is success and development. He hasn't had a chance to prove that yet. And as much as we're hearing positive things from recruits when they leave visits, is it tangible enough for them to make that decision this early? I don't think so, at least not yet. So I'm guessing we end up somewhere between 7 and 8, but not quite 10. So I'm going to say nah.
Guys, I would love to descend from these guys and just say facts, but I'm going to have to go nah here as well for a lot of the reasons these guys have mentioned. But I think the positive thing to note here is that Auburn is in it for a lot of guys in this recruiting cycle. The thing with evaluating some of this talent is that other big schools are going to be after these kids as well, giving them something to think about. And it's going to be challenging for these guys to pull the trigger on Auburn, to Mike G's point, if they haven't seen everything they needed to see on the field. I think it's good that we're going into the fall with guys interested in Auburn. So this season is going to be really critical. But I think after the season, we'll begin to see a lot of those guys who were leaning towards Auburn come on to Auburn's way. So I'm going to go nah here, but I don't think we should panic because a lot of football left.
All right, guys, it's time for our RogueShop.com fan question of the week. This week's fan question comes from our guy Thomas Jones on Twitter, and he asks, facts or nah, Auburn will finish with a top 10 defense nationally this fall. What do we think about this one?
I am going to say nah. I really want us to have a top 10. If we have a top 10 defense, man, that's going to be amazing. But I just don't know that we're going to climb into the top 10. I think we have an opportunity for top 20. I don't think that we're going to get to top 10, though. I have yet to see any of this defense as far as the pass defense work effectively yet with this system. So that's really going to be a big portion of this. It's just a pass-happy league right now. And so until we prove that we can actually stop people from passing the ball and do something better in the short passing game defensively, I'm going to have to lean against this and say nah.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go nah here as well, just simply because there's still a lot to be figured out on the offensive side of the ball. Auburn actually was a really good defensive team that could have been a top 10 defense, but the problem was we kept giving the ball back to the other teams, leaving our defense out there much longer than what they should have been. So if we can figure out the run game in terms of milking clock, winning the time of possession, keeping our defense off the field, that gives them an opportunity to be productive through limited time on the field. So once we figure that out, along with some of the things Ike said in terms of stopping people in the passing game, I think we can be a top 10 team, but it's too much in the air to say facts. So I'm going nah.
I'm going to say nah, but it's because I'm not sure what we have at linebacker. If we want to do a lot more blitzing and attack a little better, then that means we got to leave linebackers accountable for the pass game, and we don't know what we have there. Do we have a stalwart like we had Jacoby McClain that's going to clean up a little bit of everything? We have no idea. I feel much more comfortable knowing we had some guaranteed pieces back there that we had already seen, but since we do not, I'm going to say nah.
I'm going big time facts on this one. Auburn's defense is going to be top 10 at everything. Top 10 at tackles for loss, top 10 at sacks, top 10 at interceptions, top 10 on your mom's speed dial. These guys are going to be awesome at everything next year. I think this is a breakout season with a lot of experience returning on that D-line. So warn your mom, hide your kids, hide your wife. Auburn is top 10 in defense next season. Facts. Guys, that's it for another great edition of Facts or Naw, brought to you by RogueShop.com. Visit them for all your herbal supplement needs and use code REPORT to get 10% off. Also, we want to hear from you. So if you want to have your question featured on this segment, hit us up. Hashtag Facts or Naw on Twitter or Instagram, and we'll see if we can get your question up next. Other than that, you guys know where to find us. We are the War Report on most social media platforms, TW Report on TikTok. Fellas, we're signing off. And as always, War Eagle.
War Eagle.